Alright everyone, welcome back. In this video, what we're going to do is we're going to be looking at this bonding strip here. While I got all the quarter panel off, the issue is like, especially over here, you can see that over here, this is where the bonding strip actually stops. But over here, and even as it goes down to here, this is like really thin. There's barely a lip. Now the reason for that is because I didn't actually get all of this off. What I did is I split the fiberglass that was original that was on here. So what we're going to have to do, and how I even got this off to begin with, is you slowly take a heat gun, apply it to the fiberglass, make sure not to do it for too long because then the fiberglass will start to burn. What you then take very tediously is a paint scraper or one of the 5-in-1 tools, and we're going to go right along this edge here, and I probably couldn't even show it on camera, but this edge here, so that we can get a good edge, so that what we do when we have this replacement piece here, and then the second piece right here. Now, this second piece is really the first. What we're gonna do is, once we get this all cleaned up, as you can see, this is broken right here. If we had this bonding strip in place from where the original fiberglass sat, we can bond it to the underside of here. I'll show you along here. Now somebody else had done this. We're gonna have to clean this up with a heat gun, same method. But what you do is you take this along here, we'll get it dry fitted first, and then bond it on just like that. And what all these holes are is when you bond on a new piece, it's commonly recommended that you drill pilot holes and you take screws to put them in. I don't think we need this many. But we'll still use some of the holes that were already drilled. We're going to take the screws, we're going to go through the bonding strip in different parts. So as the bonding adhesive dries, it'll stay on there really well. And what that's going to allow us to do then is, like I said, keep this bonding strip in place so that when we cut this broken piece out to the nose, what we're going to be able to do is use the bonding strip to bond back in place where the body originally sat from the factory back in 1968, 1969, whenever this 1969 car was actually built. So depending on that, we'll have to see. But the first step is first cleaning up this bonding strip so then we can get this on there. Alright, the second thing we're going to do, as I mentioned in the first video and some of the walk around, is that there's a lot of spots where the media blasting kind of took a little bit too much out of the fiberglass when they were stripping the paint. What we've had to do is fill in a lot of the holes, repair with fiberglass, and then use body filler to fill in those little gaps so that we can have a nice even surface when we're ready for paint. On this side of the car, where you can see there's only like these small spaces that are filled in. You don't want a car that's like full of body filler because it doesn't have that structural rigidity that a body really needs. Over time, paint will crack and whatnot over stress cracks. There's an example I have of it here. There's a bunch of just stuff filled in here, and they made it smooth on both sides. This should be a ridge that I could get my fingers under, but you can see again that there's this gunk filled in here. So what we're gonna try and do is actually fix that so that we have a proper repair on this car. Usually conventional wisdom says, hey, if you have some damage on the car, fix it. But with this quarter panel, it was so far gone, there's pieces missing when I bought the car, that just replacing it with a reproduction quarter panel made a lot more sense. For something like this up front, where this part is broken like this, it's broken down on the sides and everything like that. This has a huge gap, which would just wind up being a lot of filler, and that's not what we want to do. And that's why I went with just splicing in a new piece of fiberglass that I got. Now, what we've done is, if you look closely, you'll see like we've gone again, like along all of here. This is where the rear bumper sits, the chrome bumper. It comes down from here and it goes across, wraps around the edge. This pink stuff is the body filler, but you can see there's like a lot of like little like almost globs as it was starting to harden and whatnot. So what we're gonna do is take a palm sander. We're gonna sand these spots down. There's more over here, down here. What we're doing first is trying to get all of that rear end, in addition to like right along here where we had a small fiberglass repair. You have to fill that in. Alright, with this rear end in the current state that it's in, where we've got a lot of the filling in, we just need to do more sanding like we said before. Our goal is to have this ready by Corvettes at Carlisle. Corvettes at Carlisle is the largest Corvette show in America. It's done every August at the end of August in Carlisle, PA. It's just outside of Harrisburg, the capital. What we'll need to do to get this done is weld the rear kick-ups, which is right before where the frame ends before it goes over the rear wheels and differential. That is common again in these cars. Now, to get this roadworthy, we're going to have to fix those two parts on each side. There is that rust there. We're going to use the Eastwood rust encapsulator that's specifically meant for frames like this. On this car, they've been doing it forever. So we're going to do that so we don't have this problem in the future. The other thing, we're going to put that quarter panel on. We're going to fix the nose. Then we should be roadworthy. We should be ready to go. We have about 90 days on this project to get that done. There's a lot of tedious body work to be done. The biggest thing, again, is that quarter panel, because that'll make us actually roadworthy, in addition to needing to fit all the lights and signals and whatnot on the car. With that, we should be ready to go. Stay tuned.